during the pandemic, we all were sort of liberated in a way to write what we wanted and to sort of like dig deep and almost forced to in a way. Mm-hmm. And I've always been troubled and excited by the topic of gender and horror. And I wanted to write something about that because, as you know, as much, if not better than anyone, when I was growing up, queer characters were jokes or they were victims. And it would have meant so much to me when I was 10, 11, 12, 13 right. to see a queer character as the hero of a horror movie, my favorite genre.
Right.
So I thought, why don't I write the movie that I never got to see? And, the slasher movie, the most reviled of all forms, right. is beloved by me, right. And so I thought, all right, let's do it. Let's take on the difficulty of writing a slasher movie with all the tropes of a traditional right. slasher movie. Right. There were a camp in the woods. There's a killer with a mask. There's all sorts of mystery right. and sinister goings-on, but wrap it around the shell of gay empowerment about these 7 kids.
I love your writing and your work. This is a brilliant idea. To me, it's all about doing something different, something that we've not seen before. And man, we have not seen this movie before.
Yeah, I think it's
at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting because there's a dawning awareness, I think, of people sort of addressing complicated social issues in our genre, which is horror, my genre and your genre. And as you know, the sort of the monster theory that the academics call it that evolved about 20 years ago, where we started looking at horror seriously. We started taking the text of horror seriously. And I was reading sort of articles in scholarly journals about the analysis of sort of the linchpins of American horror cinema, Dracula, Frankenstein, and the Wolfman, those great Universal movies. And those classic 3 characters created American horror cinema. And each one of them had a very complicated relation to gender if you really want to dig into it. Like Dracula, for example, the women are passive.
Right.
They need to be saved.
Yes.
The symbol of authority is the church, is patriarchy. In The Wolfman, Larry Talbot is bitten by a male wolf, Bela Lugosi, and spends the rest of the Universal horror cycle trying to die because it is so terrible to turn into this thing that attacks men and women. So you start looking at our genre really densely, and you realize there's a tradition of dealing with gender in a very complicated way. And recently, writers and directors have been sort of seizing that. A movie like Get Out takes a social and political issue and puts it in our genre very comfortably.
Which is a terrific movie.
Terrific movie.
Probably my favorite horror movie of the last 10 years.
Tremendous.
I can't think of anything that was but again, new canvas, different, never seen before. And I think you've got those ingredients in this show because it sounds perfect. It just sounds perfect.
It's different.
But give them, just so people have a little more of an idea, what is the log line, just the setup? Because I think the setup is brilliant.
The log line is it's a gay empowerment movie set at a gay conversion camp. Because, there are these camps.
Which is ridiculous already.
It's ridiculous.
Just the concept.
Yes.
So already it's like perfect.
Yes, exactly, because the concept is so insane. But these camps exist. This sort of therapy is what they call it, exists in half the states, And in the current moment we live in, where there's so much transphobia or gay phobia going on, homophobia going on, it's important to embrace these stories in a popular format. And the horror movie has always been such a popular format. So my movie, like your movies, I'm not trying to preach. I'm trying to do an entertainment. Literally, we have Kevin Bacon going back to the camp, back to the original Friday the 13th as our lead.
That's great.